I saw that you were online, and I said, "Oh, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and open up the meeting. That way we can start chatting."
Okay, that's fine. So, Alba, how are you?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful. So
Okay.
we're recording these sessions. So and I know that Jeni is.
Yes, I saw it. Yes.
Yeah. So you know we can begin working if you want to, and then people can go back and always look at the recording as well.
Okay, so 1 second, because I did not search. I would be including. I must take my workbook. Okay, that's fine. Yes, because I have so many I have so many questions. My main question, which is totally theoretical and that I did not yet mark in my book, is I found the allowing technique totally fabulous, and I made it for little things, which in fact were not little, and I see the result. I cannot believe it.
I know. It's...
Oh, and well, I do also a lot of ESC because of the group, but. And my question is, because at the beginning I got this good result, which was with my old cat, and so I was bothered because I was thinking, yes, it's not going to last because it's going to come back, etc., etc. And in fact, my emotion, my difficult emotion, does not come a lot, and if it comes very, very little. And I say, no, okay, don't worry, and it's okay. And so my question is, when you do this allowing technique, you work obviously on conscious thoughts, okay? And if it modifies something, it is that it goes to an unconscious level. And what I would like to know is what is part of conscious part and unconscious part in this allowing technique.
That's a good question. And I think I just want to make sure that I'm getting the totality of what you're asking. So you're asking what part of the allowing technique is addressing the conscious mind, and what part is addressing the subconscious mind?
No, it was not exactly that. It was
okay.
The allowing technique is addressing both conscious and unconscious.
Yeah.
Which was a part of it? Do you consider it's addressing, let's say, 3/4 of conscious and 1/4 of unconscious? Or, in fact, the only thing I want to know is mainly to what is it addressing? Conscious or unconscious?
Yes. Well, I think that what I would say first is that what it is primarily, what we're using it primarily for is to get in touch with feelings.
Yes.
So when we're having a conscious thought, it's producing a feeling.
Yes.
And also, when we're being subconsciously triggered, we're having some sort of a feeling.
The feeling is unconsciously triggered. Okay.
So we can see something, hear something, experience something, and in the moment, prior to us even having a conscious thought about it.
Yes.
Hello, Chris. Yeah. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm the only one that I'm the only one.
Playing my music.
Monday.
I'm playing.
You're playing music. Well, maybe it's nice.
Can you hear it?
No, no.
It's for no, you're here.
Oh, good. It's Enya. Do you know Enya? It shouldn't be played.
Chris, yeah, Chris, your connection's pretty bad.
Try again.
You're already
here.
too.
Hello, Sylvie. I can see you.
Hello.
Well, I can't see you,
You can't see. Oh,
but I know you're there. Let's try it. Yeah.
Fine. Now it could be better.
Can you hear us? Can you see us?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, if you had music playing, there's a good chance that you're eating up more of your bandwidth while you're.
It was unintentional, although I love music. It wasn't intentional music. It was. I love it when things happen without me planning by design.
Yeah. And I see that Jenn is on. I don't. There she is.
Hi. I'm in the city, and so I think it's better if I do without video. Next time I can do it with.
Awesome. So, yeah, and I know that you're on a time limit. So
yes.
I've gone ahead and we're just jumping in, and I've started with first of all, yes, we can spend more time with the getting to know yous, but I think that I do want to talk about how and where this group can meet online, so that we have, should we be creating a special Facebook group just for the practitioners? So, or, do we need an extra Facebook group? So let's give that a little bit of thought, because I want, because I'm, this will grow organically, and I don't want this group to be accessible to the general public. Right. So I want to, so whether it's Facebook or we do some other sort of a platform, I just want to have a platform where Odille and I and the practitioners can just interact. So if Facebook sounds fine, we can set up another Facebook group. If somebody else has another idea, let me know. So I jumped in, and Sylvie and I have been talking about a question which I know is going to affect everybody, but she was asking about the allowing technique, and the allowing technique as it's affecting the subconscious and the conscious mind. And we were just kind of getting started with that. And I would say that what is going on with the allowing technique is that we're addressing feelings. What we're doing is we're working with feelings. So we will have conscious thoughts come up, and they'll be floating through our, our day or whatever. When we latch onto a conscious thought, it may end up triggering a feeling or an emotion. So that it's happening because, okay, I've got this conscious thought, and now I'm triggered, and now I'm dealing with feelings. And there's where we can start with that, going with the feeling and allowing whatever feeling is arising. And then subconsciously, when we're going through our day, somebody can say something to us, we can see something, we can hear something, smell something, and subconsciously, the feelings, sensations, emotions get triggered before our conscious mind is even really aware of what's going on. So again, it's happening at the feeling level. And whatever feelings are arising in the moment can be an opportunity to practice the allowing technique.
Yeah.
Does that address your question, Sylvie? Did that help a little bit? And the other thing,
you began to see something else, I guess, or I heard something else, which was the feeling is unconsciously triggered.
Yeah.
I mean, I understood that you have an idea which is conscious, who is going to generate a feeling, and at this moment, it means to me that the feeling drops you at the unconscious level, and that here you begin to work on the unconscious, and when allowing the feeling to expand, to have his own life, you work, or the technique work, on subconscious.
Yeah, I
Is
believe,
it okay?
yes, and I believe what is happening as we are allowing, starting that using the allowing technique, is that what it's doing is and I know that this kind of relates to some of the other questions that were there, is that it is a deeper level of practice with zero tolerance. So in the past, when we've talked about zero tolerance, it has been this do whatever it takes to get out of the negative emotion.
Yes.
So we have been, so we're honing this a little bit. So we're dropping that feeling of needing to get rid of the negative emotion, fighting the negative emotion, rejecting it. So zero tolerance is being very aware that I'm having this emotion, this feeling right now in the moment, and starting from that place of allowing, instead of starting from that place of I have to run, I have to get rid of this negative emotion, I have to struggle, I have to fight with it to get rid of it as quick as I can. Now, we're moving in the direction of transforming those emotions, but we're not in that place of I have to fight this, I have to struggle this to the ground. Because when we are in that position, you're automatically in that stress state of fight, flight, freeze.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So as the feelings are coming up, we're becoming aware. So zero tolerance is if I'm feeling some kind of negativity, it's beginning by, oh, I'm going to allow space. The feeling can be here. I can remind myself to take one step back into my true nature, my higher self, my unconditional love state. I'm stepping back, allowing the feeling to be there. I'm not the feeling, I'm allowing the feeling to be there. So, you know, each and every moment can become an opportunity to practice. So we can practice on good feelings and we can practice on bad feelings.
Alors, may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When I practice on difficult feeling, it makes like if the feeling is going is no more existing because it spread all over. Okay, I would not like it for good feelings. So I'm afraid if I have a good feeling, I say, oh, I love that, but I don't want to see it disappear or to feel it disappear because
Very good. Very good.
in my life, yes.
Very good, Sylvie. And here's the thing. I wouldn't necessarily start with this understanding with brand new clients, but for where you're at right now, for all of us here, I want you to be able to start to also recognize that with the allowing technique, what we're doing is getting rid of judgment.
Yeah.
We're getting rid of judgment. So it's the judgment that's putting us in that position of struggle. So if it's bad, I want to get rid of it. I want to reject it. I want to deny it. I want to push it away. And if it's feeling good, if I've labeled it good, if I've judged it good, now I want to hang on to it. I want to struggle to hold it here in the moment as long as I can. That's not to say that I can't enjoy what's happening right now, but I don't want to get into a struggle relationship because I'm also struggling. It's like I might lose this good feeling. Does that make sense?
No, I've missed a bit. I think I get what you're saying. But no, I won't even think about that because. right. I go. I think we've covered this somewhere else, so I know what you're saying. I know.
That's okay. I know that.
Yeah, it's not accepting the bad feeling. It's not accepting it in the sense of I want to go and start exploring it or spending time with it. In that, no, not spending. It's not going into the archaeology of it. It's the experiential side of it. How am I feeling about it? And having that dialogue, conversation, stepping back and saying, "Oh, that's interesting. Look at what my skin's doing. Look at my face." Yeah, so I'm doing that, but not getting involved.
Yes, allowing doesn't mean that I have to become a doormat. Allowing doesn't mean so there's allowing is allowing the feeling to be there without the judgment. That doesn't mean that we don't act. I mean, clearly if something is dangerous, we can take action, but we can take action without the judgment. It's like, nope, I just need to act right now. I don't have to label it good or bad. I can just I can use my feelings in the way that they were intended. It's like the feelings are letting me know that something needs to be changing here, but I don't have to, as Chris would say, I don't have to jump in with it and get all involved with it.
Yes, I would like to, yes.
And I think that, Sylvie probably still has a question about the judgment, good or bad.
No, in fact, my departure point, the point from where I began is when you have a difficult emotion, let's say I'm angry, so I will be angry less, okay? And I know that if I turn the coin at the other part of the coin, for example, there will be peace.
Yes.
To be peaceful is something that I want to get all my day, and I don't speak about ESC. So when I get this peace, I just don't want it to go away because it's exactly where I wanted to live. And so my fear, not my fear, it's what if I understand what I mean, is that if I allow this peace, it will vanish. It will vanish. As it vanishes, when it was angerness. And what I want to spread in my life, to get all the day, is peace.
So here's the thing, that little bit, that feeling of it may go away, that if I allow this, it may go away. Allow that feeling, and then you can start taking that and chasing it back into childhood. How do you know that if I allow something wonderful, it may go away?
But it did go away when it was the other side of the coin. So it.
It transforms. It transforms.
It transforms. Yes, okay. It did not go away. Okay. Yes. So here, thank you.
So the coin transforms. Both sides of it transform. It's like allowing the cocoon to be there so that the butterfly can transform. Does that help a little bit?
Yes, it transforms, it does not vanish. It's okay. And yes. So
when anger shows up again, just know that you're continuing to transform that. You're continuing to peel away layers of the onion.
Yes. And
so let's transition. I want to transition and make sure that I get some of what Jeni sent here. So how are we supposed to use zero tolerance, get out of it, and then switch back to the allowing technique? And I think I understand that question, and I think that we started to address a little bit of that. What I see here is that the allowing technique is not separate from zero tolerance. So the allowing technique is leveling up zero tolerance. So
Okay.
we're not getting, so I know that initially, the way that we were talking about this is zero tolerance is kind of that notion of getting yourself out of the burning building or getting yourself out of the negative emotion, getting yourself out of the stress state. And I think that as you're beginning with clients, as you're beginning working with people, that's a great understanding, but I think as we're moving toward exploring and really getting to know what this allowing technique is about, the allowing technique allows us to be with each and everything that's there. People who are highly triggered and they're just really into their old negative stories may have that initial difficulty because they're just living in that triggered state too much. So we need to spend time getting them away from that. But the allowing technique is really about helping people become aware of each and every feeling, sensation, emotion that's happening in the moment.
So can I just add, so like the zero tolerance is basically an awareness technique, and the allowing method is allowing, like, so, yeah.
I think that they're both. Allowing is definitely about awareness.
Yes.
As
but
well.
I just noticed that a lot of people have problems just noticing those emotions that they're feeling.
Absolutely.
It's very hard.
Absolutely. And it's going to be with each person is going to be a little bit different depending upon where they're at in terms of their emotional maturity, how much exposure they've had to being in tune with feelings. There are a lot of people that live completely above their neck, and they have no idea. They haven't really been in touch with feeling. So this may be a new area for them. So we have to kind of walk them through that. Does that help a little bit?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from Sylvie, Chris, as we're talking about this to help?
No, I see it evolving on the day-to-day Zoom session. So I see it in action. So I'm not going to ask any questions because they are covered by by the material that is coming out of the people who join that Zoom meeting. That they are bringing their very real stories and questions. So I'm watching and learning that way.
So, but would you agree that this is about awareness? Allowing is about awareness.
And totally. Yeah, I think it links in, to me, it links in with, mindfulness.
Yeah.
Because that,
yeah,
for me, is about awareness and not judging, but not ignoring negative feelings.
Right.
Making that, building that relationship with them.
Yeah.
But there are two, in order to, well, we're taking it further. I think mindfulness may say come to a point of peace and contentment with it, but I think we're doing proactive stuff.
Okay, good.
People, we're accompanying people on that, as Sylvie, the transformation, because the coin is, once you're there, the coin just flips so even without trying. There's a moment when you think, oh, of course, it's about that, really.
Yes.
And then it feels perfect.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Sylvie, thoughts?
Yes, you told, and I'm really okay with that some people are here.
Yeah.
And but how do you do with allowing technique? Can you help them to go in their whole body, or you have to use another technique?
No, and I think that's also is addressing one of Jenny's questions is how do we start with clients who've never done this before, no felt experience whatsoever? And I think that is similar to what you're asking there. And I think, and I've had some clients that, were very adamant about, I can't feel anything. I don't have any feelings. So you just start with them wherever they're at. if they're having emotions, they're having feelings. If they're angry, if they're happy, if they're depressed, if they're whatever the emotion is, the way that they're experiencing that in their body is they're having feelings. It's just that they're not in tune with where they're having those feelings in their body. They have a knowing that they're sad. So ask them, you can ask them, well, how do you know, how is it that you're experiencing happiness in your body? How is it that you're experiencing sadness? So it doesn't have to be a feeling for them. They may be saying things like, it's a knowing. Well, I just know that I'm happy. Okay, good. Let's start with that. So start with wherever they're at. I never try to struggle or fight and try to explain, no. The only way that you can really be experiencing this emotion is to be in touch with the feelings that you're having in your body. It's like, doesn't matter. Just ask them how they know that they're experiencing that feeling. So start there with people. And Jenny, I would say for people that haven't had any experience with this whatsoever, think about going back to the very beginning, the beginner's exercise in the superpower, and just have them imagine something that makes them feel really good. You know,
Yeah, that always works well. I've
Yeah.
tried that.
So if you start there with them first and just keep it very simple, you know, get people in touch with that good feeling state and allow them to amp that up a little bit.
Okay. And when they keep going, like Sylvie asked, when they keep going into the negative, like no matter how much you try to tell them to keep looking into the positive feelings, and they still like, oh, but you know, he said or she said, and they keep going back to the negative feelings.
Right. And what you want to do is to start working with them and helping them to recognize, it's like, oh, that's wonderful. That's great. Okay. So that feeling that you're having right there, that he said feeling. So pull them out of it and pull them into detective mode and go, look, all right. So now have them do something physical. It's like, put your hands on your lap, or, you know, or touch your cheek. Can you feel the sensation of your hand against your cheek? You know, so you're pulling them out of the trance of their whatever story that they're engaged in, and trying to get them to recognize that the feeling that is being generated is no different than the feeling of their hand against their leg. So you can start there with that. And it's just like, it's just a sensation. It's no different than the feeling of your hand against your leg. So let's just work with that right now. So, and ask them, you know, we're just going to be with it momentarily. Let's just try it for like 5 seconds or 10 seconds. So work with them like that so that it moves. You're moving them into practicing that at a small level. So you're not explaining anything about being in detective mode or being in you know, scientific mode or observer mode. Just take them through it. It's like, just be with that emotion and see what it's doing. How much room is it taking up in your body? What's it feel like? Is it heavy? Does it have a color? You know, ask them questions that's keeping them focused on the feeling and out of the old story. And then if that doesn't work, what I often will do is to say, okay, yep, I got the, you know, the whole, the story, whatever the drama is. Don't tell them, you know, don't say we're not going to focus on this. Let's just say, you know, we're going to put it over to the side, put a pin on it, put it over here, put it on a shelf, just move it out of the way for a moment. And we're just going to focus on the feeling that's coming up around that.
Ouais, ça c'est bien. Oui.
So,
Thank you.
And then sit with them as they're doing that. You know, it's like, okay, we're just going to be with the feeling for a moment. So just be with that feeling. And I think that if you get a chance, like Chris says, you know, watching Odille mostly, sometimes I've done some of these on the daily session, but Odille is walking people through that process of just be with the emotion. What's there right now? And it doesn't, So, you know, without the expectation that something is going to come up. Now, what's fascinating is that as we do this, it does seem like something's always coming up. Something's always changing. But I know that as I've done this for myself, that sometimes just being with the emotion is really all that the emotion is asking you to do right now. Can you just spend time with it? And transformation starts to happen that way as well. I'm aware of your time limit, Jenny, and I just want to get to this last question that you had here. How do I keep from straying back to the negative emotions through the allowing technique? So I think that's a good question. And if I'm understanding it correctly, so what you're saying is that you're doing the allowing technique, and then what's going on? You're feeling better, and then the negative emotions come back, or what?
No, it's just like this feeling of the audience. More stuff comes up and I feel overwhelmed. And I'm like, oh gosh, I didn't even want to go here. What am I supposed to do now?
Okay, so see it like this, or this is the way that I'm kind of doing it in my mind. Once you start allowing yourself to be in this position of allowing emotions, I feel like it's you can imagine a group of children who've been abused and neglected all of their life, and you show up one day and you're now showing some attention to one of these poor, neglected, abused children. And as you start doing that, the rest of them are all running up going, me next, can I have some attention too? So just let them know. Just let the feeling know, yes, there will be time for you too, but right now we're just focusing on this. We're just focusing on this feeling right now. Or sometimes it feels like I will sometimes in my mind transition or switch if it feels okay to do it in the moment. So you kind of have to kind of go a little bit with feeling or your own intuition on this. But I've also been in a place of like, yep, okay, there's a lot of stuff here. I get it. And I will be back, I will be coming back to this. I will be coming to you. So it's allowing that to be there as well. It's just that you're focusing on one at a time. It's not, so you don't get into that position of struggling with all the feelings that are there. And if you need to, I would say back out and go with whatever is most present. So if overwhelm, if that overwhelming feeling feels more present, then go with that. Lead with that.
Okay.
Just like what we would say when you're dealing with an emotion or a feeling that's come up, if the feeling, so for me, like I was dealing with guilt, shame, and rejection. And I felt like, oh man, you know what? I've been dealing with these feelings for such a long time. I don't even want to be dealing with these anymore. So the feeling that I had to deal with first was not allowing that feeling of like, nope, I don't even want to allow guilt and shame and anger into my life right now. Or I don't even, so I started with the feeling of not allowing first.
We all did.
Yeah. So that feeling of not allowing, allow the not allowing. And then as you do that, that transforms and allows yourself to get to the underlying feelings. So literally every moment, everything that's coming up, you can always take one step back into your true nature, one step back into your superpower, one step into your higher self, whatever words you want to use about that, and allow whatever is happening in the moment. This is all about continuing to take a step back into mastery, your true self, and away from and letting go of victimhood.
Yep.
Does that help you, ma'am?
It does.
Awesome. And any thoughts? I don't know how. I know that you're probably needing to go, but any thoughts about preference on a platform? Is doing a special Facebook group just for practitioners sound like an okay idea, or do you have any other ideas?
well, you guys would probably be creating that, right?
Right.
For all the practitioners that are in the training right now, or
Right. And
just the three of us.
well, Sam is kind of on the outside edge of this right now, but right now, yeah, it's a small group, but I would imagine eventually or organically it will expand as people are interested in it. But so I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to overload people with, one more Facebook group, but I'm also wanting, so do we want a Facebook group or just keep what we've got going on in Messenger for right now?
For me, it's fine like this. I don't know, and like maybe through email or also private numbers. Eventually, when we guys get closer, when we get to know each other, if we want, or as I'm a WhatsApp fan. There's also, you can do groups there, but some people are not fans of that. And,
yeah, I'm kind of I'm a little less technically savvy on WhatsApp, but
okay.
So
It's
if
the
you're
same as Messenger.
okay, if you're
it's difficult for me to go on Messenger because I don't have it in my it's difficult.
so it's how
if
about
we can
WhatsApp?
all right, Chris, are you on WhatsApp?
yes, WhatsApp is okay.
I'm on all of them.
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like I need to spend a little time learning WhatsApp then.
I can set up a group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
I need everyone. Yeah, I just need everyone's phone. Yeah, your phone numbers. Is that what we're phoning? Because we're not phoning through our personal numbers. We need our personal.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Mobile numbers.
So put it for right now, whatever works. What if you get a chance, either send an email, put it in the email thread that we have going for the meeting. You can put your phone numbers in there.
Okay.
Awesome, Chris. So thanks.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Jenny, any other questions?
No, thank you so much for addressing my questions first. I appreciate it. And this is a one-time only. I just have to take the kids to the doctor, so I couldn't do the whole hour today.
That's okay, but don't make promises you can't keep.
Oh, stop it.
It's okay. We're happy. We know that life happens, so it's all good, and we're so I'm so thrilled. I just want everybody to hear. I'm so thrilled that we're doing this. I'm just like, ooh, this is so fun. We have our own little team. So it'll be exciting to see where this all goes.
Yes.
Great. So let's.
I'm gonna go ahead. I have to leave you guys now.
This is and the recording is available. I will.
Oh, okay, great. So I can see the rest.
Yep, I'll get it when I get it rendered. I'll send you. They're going to be private videos on YouTube. So.
Okay, and I apologize that it's so fast that we didn't have a chance to introduce ourselves, but next time. Okay.
Very good. Have a great day, Jen.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. All righty. Now let's go back and make sure that we're getting all the other questions taken care of. Sylvie, let me just ask you then directly. What other questions?
Hello. In fact, they have already been answered twice because I wanted to know how to organize what to do when I'm triggered when working with myself. So I think it's okay, which was a big, yes. About beliefs, would allowing technique help to get rid of belief or to transform beliefs?
Sure, because the belief is going to be triggering some sort of a feeling there as well.
Yes, but what I mean is that I begin to work on a belief, and soon a feeling is going to happen or to pop up, and then I'll work mainly on the feeling. The belief is only a starting point.
Right. And the way that I see this working is that, okay, so give me an example of a belief. You can make one up or one that's there for you.
My neighbors are horrible with me. Okay.
Your neighbors are horrible with you. Okay, great. So as you think about that, you have this belief. What is the feeling that's generated when you think about that?
Let's say I'm scared.
Okay, good.
Oh, no, I have a better one. I'm very happy because I think they are stupid. Double belief. Tack.
Okay. You're so,
All right.
so what really is that feeling of happy that they're
What's wrong with
stupid?
that then?
Yeah, is there anything wrong with that?
Okay, yes, okay, I understand. No, it's not wrong. They are horrible with me, but in fact, I don't care because they are stupid.
So the question I would say is, when you look at that, is there a problem with that? And if a client is like,
yes,
nope.
there is a problem because no, but there is because otherwise it was really nearly finished. So yes, there is a problem because what I want to get in life is a lot of love. So I mean, have very good relationships with my neighbors, and it's not the case.
Right. So how do you know? Again,
How do you know? Okay.
Yeah. How do you know that you don't have that relationship? What's wrong with it? So again, keep coming around to it because there's some sort of a feeling there.
Okay.
And as you find that feeling, remember that whatever words we're attaching to it is just the conscious mind. And really what we're just trying to be with is whatever the feeling is. And the feelings can only be felt. Feelings don't have words, they just are feelings. And it's not important for us to analyze to the nth detail what this feeling is. Just allow yourself to be with the feeling.
Yes. Okay.
And that may take more practice for some people than others. So it's like, oh, I don't need the words, I just need to be with the feeling. And then as you're allowing the feeling to be there, either the memories or the references from childhood will kind of automatically, like Chris was saying, they'll just kind of automatically come up. Or you can ask yourself, what does this remind me of from childhood? What does this feeling remind me of in childhood? What is this situation reminding me of in childhood? So I think it's just adding, we're adding the allowing technique to what we have been normally doing.
Okay. Now I understand. I thought allowing technique was in fact, you were only working on allowing, and now I understand that you go little, you make one step, two step, and then you make the detective work, and then allowing, and then tac, eventually CMT, and then tac. Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like this allowing technique kind of organically sprung up out of working with people who were having difficulty finding childhood memories. It's like they're like, I don't know, I can't find anything. It's like I can feel the feeling. I'm triggered and I can feel the feeling, but I can't find it in my childhood. I don't know I don't know what the references are. So it's like, okay, then just be with the feeling. Let's just start with the feeling. And it's like, boom, just allowing the feeling, then it's like things started transforming very quickly once you're doing that. Because then it's like you're letting go of the resistance instead of fighting to push that old feeling away. We're now allowing it to happen, and people are coming up with memories that, it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't thought of this for years. And it's like, oh, or the links to something else. So it happens much quicker or much easier when you're doing that. And I think that a lot of times just taking people through the allowing is, like Chris is saying, I think it just brings, it's bringing things down, and the transformation is happening. It's like, do we even need to go back and change memories? I think in some cases, the transformation is happening just because we're allowing we're allowing that feeling to be there, allowing it to speak in the moment. But we're seeing it as part of the process. We're just seeing it as another tool. But I think what we're finding is that it's a pretty powerful tool, a pretty quick tool. Yeah.
And what I saw, I don't know whether you saw it also, is that by allowing emotions in me, I allow a lot of things from people around me. And now I have experienced that a situation which would have finished in a little fight with, let's say, a girlfriend of mine, has finished. I was very smooth, and she was completely. She called me and told me, "Are you sure everything is okay? Did you tell me everything?" And I said, "Yes, it's not a problem." And what was amazing is that really I felt good, and then I said, "Oh, maybe I should be a little bit worried." So I said, "No, allow it, okay." And I found it extraordinary when it begins to act around you. Wow.
Awesome. Yes, yes. So, and I would say that as we are using this, we as practitioners in training, continue to be aware of those kind of things, document those kind of things, take some notes, so that we're continuing to, we're all sharing that stuff together, because
Yeah.
it's all organically happening right now. We're developing this thing, so
Yes, and
we're
when
all working.
it will happen to our client, of course, which is
Chris, questions, thoughts, comments? What else can we do for you?
No, this is good. This is good. Sorry, I'm just allowing.
That's good. I was just taking a look at.
What did I know? No, I don't know. I'm one of those people who never has a question until I hear someone else say.
There's a couple of things on your list, though, that I would like to bring up. That a couple of things. Headspace, and I know that we've said it already in the meeting today, but that this allowing technique does look a lot like mindfulness. But I think that somehow for me, and because I've had years, I've done 15 plus years of mindfulness practice and teaching mindfulness, that it is making the practice so much more accessible. I think it's I'm finding that the same type of feelings that I would get after sitting for a long period of time, I can have access to a little bit quicker. Now, I don't know if that's because I've been practicing for a long time or not, but I'm also like, if you have clients, if you are working with people that find it really difficult, that their mind is just focused, they're just randomly jumping from one thing to the other, or they can't focus on anything, then I think maybe just starting with basic mindfulness for them is a good place to start. It's like helping them with, and especially if they're super triggered, it's just like taking them through a really short little breathing exercise or a short little body scan. I've done that kind of thing just to start bringing down, the neurochemicals, doing that as well. But I would also, I don't have any problems recommending people do whatever. It would be like recommending exercise, a decent diet, getting good sleep. I believe that doing some sort of a regular meditation or mindfulness practice is just another healthy lifestyle choice. So I did want to say a couple of words around that. And the other thing that I wanted to say was about number 6 on your list, which is, would you like to meet for role play, discussing techniques, approaches, and to build core practitioner relationship peer support? So that was, that is, I think, the power of doing our WhatsApp group, and connecting on WhatsApp, so that, like if you and Sylvie wanted to get together to talk about, let's practice doing this, or you and Jenn are setting those kind of things up. I haven't formalized that yet. I'm kind of allowing that to happen organically, just to see what's going to be the most powerful way of that happening. So other programs, would maybe formalize that a little bit more, and that may end up happening. But at this point, I want to see what's going to be the most useful or helpful for people. I don't want to create something that isn't going to be helpful for people. So, and I know that everybody's educational or learning style may be slightly different. So what is going to be more helpful for one person may not be for the next, but let's see how that goes. And Sylvie, what are your thoughts of doing something like that?
What I understand, because I'm not sure I understood, is that the idea would be to work on one-to-one.
Kind of like, similar to what I think Robert is doing, but I think it is also an opportunity for people to meet and work on a, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of a practice level, that kind of thing. So you're practicing and you're having discussions and developing that relationship.
Yes, and of course discussing on what the other needs, of course. But yes, I would be delighted to do it, because I need it, because at the moment I tried a little bit to apply the technique with some clients, but it didn't work as well as I would have liked, because in fact I've only okay, that's it. So yes, I would like to experience it with you and experience with Jenn, and it would be fabulous. And
Great. And is that kind of the vision of what you were seeing there, Chris?
Informal. Initially informally, find out when I'm free, when you're free, we set that up. And then I can bring you where my thinking is. I've got lots of little things all day long, little things are coming up. I say, let's do that today. Something that's not too deep, but let's try that. And then I'll try to do something with you.
Yes, I wanted to try everything, because I think this allowing technique is fabulous for little things that pop up during the day.
Let's start little.
Yes, and it's maybe the most difficult to catch or to grasp. So I would be delighted to work like this.
Let's do that.
To work on more important clients problems that you can have with the client within a session. So I'm okay for everything. Yes, I want to try everything.
So two quick things that Steve knows is often when you start with something very little, there's a great big thing underneath. You know that. So we will both know when we can pull back if we need. And the second thing is, I'm not a practitioner in that sense at the moment. I'm not working with anyone. So I have done some life coaching with people, which is using but this is going in, for me, it's touching areas I would have been less confident with. Just keep that in mind.
Yes, and and I know that we didn't jump into proper introductions or backgrounds and that kind of thing, but just I will say that the way that we're doing practitioner training right now is that nobody is being invited into being a practitioner unless they've got some kind of life experience as a coach or working with people. They've already got experience that they're bringing, so that we're not taking people who are not used to doing something like this without having that kind of life experience, that they're bringing to it. So it's not that maybe eventually down the road, but at this point, I feel like we're bypassing that, and you're already bringing some of that skill set with you, and everybody else is as well. So, but I hear what you're saying about, you want to take it easy, or you want to take it gently or carefully, and that if it
just to be wherever, I won't have that pool, that current pool of, let's say, oh, I might try that with somebody. At the moment, I think it will quite quickly. There are some folk I've got in mind, but now with Sylvie, we worked together. Sylvie, we worked together when we were working with level 1. Yeah, do you remember?
I remember
you
we
and
worked
I.
together. Yeah, I remember.
The accountability work.
Okay.
So for me, it would be pitched starting like this, step by step, very
Yes.
gradually.
What I want to
So
tell
we all come from Robert's. I mean,
yeah.
Robert draws on a lot too. I mean, so at least we know that starting point in that sense.
right.
From that area.
Okay. What I can tell you is that I remind myself that when I was at level 2, it's level 2 when we are supposed to begin to do sessions to one another. At the beginning, the sessions I did were, of course, quite powerful, but everyone has to begin. And it's really, it was a big treasure, let's say, that I could begin to work with other people who knew that I was not a practitioner, but who knew that I needed to train. So if you need someone to train, of course, I can try. It's possible to do it when you will feel it's okay for you. And don't worry, I will know that you are in training or that you are beginning, and everyone begins its life like that.
Right, good.
Very good. Okay, well, I'm really excited about that. So I know that you may not have an answer to this right now, but just keep it in the back of your mind that as you're continuing to go through this, in what other ways can Odille and I support what you're doing? So we know that we are trying to develop a space on our website to help promote you as practitioners. So we want to, we're wanting to develop this active team of people. So when we present the Rembrandt method, we're presenting a team of people that are working together. So we know that we're trying to get that set up, but let us know in what other ways that we can continue to support you. So just planting that seed. So, I'm seeing one other question that Sylvie had here. I just want to make sure that we've got that covered for you. How to deal with a client who practiced a lot of faster EFT, immediately only goes to the old negative memories rather than to feel and communicate, allow the emotion. Do you feel like you have an understanding of what to do with that now?
Really, because it was, and of course, it's something that we will not encounter every often. It was really a mechanism, Oh, you feel scared, for example, at the beginning. Okay, so just feel this scared feeling. Oh, I see my mother and she's doing blah, 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 blah. So I told her, okay, and what are you feeling, etc., etc. And after it, okay, I feel I have pain in my tooth, for example, and it reminds me when I was 6 years at school, blah, blah, blah. So it was a kind of automatism. I tried to redirect, and from time to time, I reminded her, okay, we work on feelings because it's the quality of this new technique, etc. And in fact, I really got the impression, maybe I should have allowed more this impression, that she was straight, okay, I'm used to that, okay, I do that.
Right.
So,
And if somebody is really married to that story, or they want to hold on to that, it's like, it's like, well, maybe this isn't the best for you. But if they're wanting to be in that place, I think that you can work with them, try working with them, and it's like, great, that story. So acknowledge what's there, whatever is there. It's like, okay, that story of your mother, that's wonderful. Now, can we let's just put it right here on this shelf. And now let's just be with the feeling. We'll come back to mom in a minute, but let's just be with the feeling. So it's always accepting or allowing whatever is there to be there. So the challenge for us as practitioners is not to try to impose how we want their sandbox to look. We're coming into their sandbox, and we're allowing, we have to kind of work within the universe that they're creating in their sandbox. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. My concern is always to check whether that's grosso modo what I did, but I always, as I have the chance to speak with you, check that there was not something else to do. And the idea of the shelf is wonderful because it's also something that she knows, so it can give her security, or I don't know what she needs at this moment, to have this technique, and we'll come back to mom and it's okay. Yes, that's a very good idea.
Yeah, and depending on who the client is, I mean, I've got a client where we have created this mansion. And so it's like so just see yourself going into the mansion right now, deciding which room you want to place that right now. Put it in there and put it safely. Where's it at? Talk them through. It depends on if they're really visual, if they really are getting into that. It's like, oh yes, I know exactly where it's at. It's, it feels that's a special place for it. Great. And now I can move back to working on that. So
it's a very good idea.
Can I ask about this example? It's helpful. So if someone is in that state, so they really are convinced, because I remember being in that for about 40 years. I said, oh, it's because of my mum, my parents, and I knew exactly all the connections and everything. All right, so someone comes in that position. Would you even begin to try and speak about finding their place of a really good place, the ESC place? Would you try and get them out of it for a minute, or because they're so into it, would you just think, oh, let's find a nice place, let them talk about it and then say, now that's great, let's put it over there for a bit if we can in the shelf?
A lot of this is going to develop as you continue to develop as a practitioner. And what I've learned is to start relying on intuition more. So I believe that what's going on is that as we are connecting, and obviously this is happening over Zoom, that as we're connecting with somebody, we're also connecting with their higher self or their subconscious mind. I'm not 100% what it is, but it's like allowing this intuitive part of me to really get in touch with the intuitive part of them. and it's allowing me to know, it's like, oh, okay, the visual thing is going to work with them. And the more you do it, you can kind of get into the flow of the feeling. I know that this isn't helpful necessarily in terms of like, but it's just getting into the flow and allowing yourself to trust your own intuition that, okay, this is moving in a good direction. I'm going to go with this right now. And that's where some of these creative ideas are coming from, is just allowing yourself to be open and creative. So it's allowing your imagination to kind of roll with their imagination. So once you get some sort of a hint, you know, they give you some kind of a verbal hint about what's going on, how they're imagining something. It's like, go with that. Go with, you know, I've got a client who's really into Star Wars. So the universe that we occupy is the Star Wars universe. I've got somebody else that loves old cartoons, you know, and so we're using those. So you use whatever they're giving you as those cues. So everybody's a little bit different. So trust intuition, and don't get too hung up on you know, this is a method and we have to do it this way and it has to go step 1, step 2, step 3. It's like guidelines.
It's useful. That's useful. Thanks, Steve. Yeah.
Good.
Very useful.
So how does this feel? I'm knowing that we're coming up at the top of the hour. Normally I would not be as rigid about timeline, just because but because we're heading off to go have a picnic today. But I just want to also take a look at this time for we've been normally meeting the first Monday of the month at this time. Does that continue to work for everybody for next month?
It's good. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. I will set up the next meeting, and in the meantime, Chris, you'll begin to teach me about WhatsApp.
Well, that's funny. I can set up a group. I mean, it's not that difficult as long as I've got everyone's mobile phone numbers.
I will send you mine.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Okay. Good.
Any other thoughts? Last thoughts, questions?
It's lovely to be talking to you, Sylvie, that I took to Steve. Yeah. So I'll make contact with you. I'll find a space, Sylvie, and then you can tell me the times when you are good for you. Maybe early, evening time or weekend, whenever.
Now we shall be linked on WhatsApp. We'll have each other's number, and we can connect directly to WhatsApp. Hello, how do you feel?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So one of the things that I was hoping is that as we are making these connections, it's just that I want to be able to somehow document what, this learning process that's also happening. That's, we can't document everything, but the things that we're gaining and learning on WhatsApp in these little informal things.
Okay.
I want that to be, whether we're talking about it, once a month, it's like, so make some notes about, insights, things that we're having, that you're gaining from doing the informal work together, so that we've got that to be able to share with people as we're moving forward.
Yes. We can make a little report for everything.
So that was kind of my thought, by doing a Facebook group, that maybe we would put that information in a Facebook group, but we'll just kind of let that percolate and see where that grows. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, team. I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and we will we will be back together formally in a month. So
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
So we'll say goodbye to Jeni on the recording, and I will see you soon.
Yes, okay. And
Lovely.
have a good day.
All right.
Sylvie.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Nice picnic. Bye bye.